Hey, y'all, Loud Little Ducky here. We are going to read through the real estate complaint that Laura Owens made to the Real Estate Licensing Board about Clayton Echard after he decided he crossed the line and did two blowies with her and decided that was going to be a one-time thing. He shouldn't have crossed the line and wanted to move Owens over to another real estate broker. Laura didn't like that idea. Laura didn't want to date him. So she was starting her revenge of Clayton Echard. Let's pull up the documents. Alrighty. So we have, and if you can't read it, I am going to read it for you. And all right, let's get to page 1. So it says that the sender is Laura Owens. She's filing a complaint. And the message says, "Hello, I'm filing a complaint against real estate agent Clayton Echard. Please see attached request for investigation, as well as a 54-page of supporting attachment. I can be reached at redacted with any additional questions. All the best, Laura Owens." I hope she's found a new greeting by now, but I doubt she has. And this was done on August 29th, 2023. So it is actually after she filed the paternity action. So she has attachments from correspondence from Kathy Swan. She has the offer that was never submitted for Lynn Oaks, partner POF statement, or partner POF submitted by Clayton, purchase contract for 76th Street and Lynn Oak, request for investigation, signed real estate agency disclosures, and election buyer, text with 76 Realtor, text with Lynn Oak Realtor, to Austin Zabak, offers made with Clayton Echard this week. Zabak Group's status of properties offered on yesterday. And there's an action log that says create a new message and conversation from Laura Owens to department for subject, file a complaint. Send a message verification email to redacted for a message ID. Email address successfully confirmed for the conversation ID. And then here we get into the Arizona Department of Real Estate. Investigation request complaint form INV 800 instructions. The Arizona Department of Real Estate Department, under the direction of Real Estate Commissioner, enforces Arizona real estate laws, Title 32, Chapter 20 of Arizona Revised Statutes, ARS. We are very familiar with ARS. Part of that responsibility is investigating complaints from individuals who believe a licensee of the department violated this law and or the Real Estate Commission rules in the Arizona Administrative Code, AAC. ARS 32-2108 requires that complainants filed with the department be in writing and signed by the complainant. The complainant must allege conduct by a real estate licensee that violates department laws and rules. Complete this form, sign it, and submitting it to the investigation division of the Department of Real Estate triggers the investigation process. ARS 41-1010 states the name of the complainant shall be public record. unless the release may result in substantial harm to any person. All complainants become a matter of public record when the review or investigation is concluded. So while the investigation is going on, this is not public, but by the time it's closed, it is public. So she knows this is going to be a part of the public record, which she wants in this case as she's filing it. She may not like it now, but she wanted it back then. Filing this complaint form does not stop you from pursuing mediation or civil action against a real estate professional that may have damaged you financially, which she used extortion to threaten filing a suit if he didn't drop the paternity action. Ethics complaint. A complaint may also be filled out with Arizona Association of Realtors. Many Arizona real estate licensees are members of an association. Members of the Arizona Association of Realtors subscribe to a code of ethics, which is a higher standard of the professional conduct than that imposed by law. These association conducts hearings on ethics complaints against their members. The department does not investigate violations of code of ethics. So then it goes through complaints the department does investigate. Real estate brokers and sales agents, unlicensed activity, illegal subdivision, public report violation, illegal advertising, timeshare violation, trust account violations, improper handling of client funds. They do not deal with landlord-tenant disputes, home inspectors, contract issues, construction/contractors, realtor code of ethic violations, homeowners association, HOA, CC&R violations, loan interest rate escrow issues, title insurance issues, homeowners insurance, escrow money issues, commission issues with broker/licensee, criminal actions, trespass, assault, theft, etc. All right. Then it says to file complaint, complete all of the sections of the complaint form. Please include the following information along with the completed form. Submit as one PDF file to azre.gov through the message center. So number one, they want you to provide a written statement of who did what happened, when it happened, where it happened, and how it happened. So who, what, when, where. Who witnessed it? Be specific. List events in chronological order. Was a document signed? Was a promise or representation made? If so, what was written or oral? Use the actual words as close as you can remember. So they want you to try to be verbatim. Number two, provide complete, legible copies of all supporting documents as attachments. This includes contracts, closing documents, canceled checks, receipts, title documents, letters, emails, etc. The attached form provides a checklist to assist you with providing relevant documents. Do not send original documents with your complaint. Provide copies only. Yeah, they don't want the original. So her investigative complaint, she says, is for a real estate broker or salesperson. The type of complaint is failure to disclose information, other improper handling of funds, misrepresentation, incompetence. Well, I mean, he didn't have your funds, so I don't know about that one. The complainant is Laura Owens. It is against Clayton Echard of the realty group that he was with at the time. Have you ever filed a complaint against this person or company with ADRE previously? She says no. Have you filed a complaint against this person or company with any other agencies? Yes. If yes, which agency? I contacted his designated broker, Kathy Swan. What action has been taken by the other agency? Kathy Swan referred me to another realtor, Matthew Chick. Great. Clayton also tried to do that too. You just wouldn't have it. Complaint details. On 5/24/2023, I signed 2 official offers that Clayton Echard had prepared for me on 2 properties, Lynn Oak Drive and 76th Avenue, which I planned to buy for investment purposes. They were only good for 24 hours. On that evening, after discussing an unrelated personal issue, Clayton told me that he would no longer be representing me. I panicked, knowing that more than 1 million in offers had been submitted. He stopped responding, and since I don't know what else to do, I contacted the seller's agent. The agent on Oaks property said Clayton never submitted my offer. The agent on 76th Avenue condo said he had been on top of it, even though he wasn't communicating with me. See attached. Have you previously notified the person or company about your complaint? He says yes, or she says yes. How did you notify them? She says written, and she's attaching copies. What was their response? Originally, to contact his broker, Austin Zabak, who was listed on the offers I signed. However, neither Clayton nor Austin responded regarding these transactions again. Please provide the name and contact information for any witnesses who have information concerning the subject matter of your complaint. So she put the agents for both of the properties, Clayton's broker, and Clayton's designated broker. Details about your complaint. It says use black ink or a computer. Attach separate pieces of paper if necessary, like normal legal letter size paper. Submit the completed complaint form and supporting documents through the Arizona Department of Real Estate Message Center or by mail. A complaint cannot be investigated without providing sufficient information. Failure to provide sufficient documents that supports the claim could delay the process of your complaint. Additional information may be submitted through the Arizona Department of Real Estate Message Center or by mail. After review and assignment, all cases will be prioritized according to the severity of the issue, department time frame policies, and available resources. Relevant document checklist. So, required is a written statement of who, what, when, where, and how, who witnessed it, list them in chronological order. Was a document signed? Was promise or representation made? What was written or verbal? Use the actual words or as closely as can be remembered. Then she checked off the correspondence, including demand letters, text messages, and emails, sales contract, front and back all pages, and all accompanying forms and attachments. And then she didn't black any of the other boxes, but she blacked proof of funds from my business partner, Matt Bentley. Oh, Matt Bentley is your business partner, is he? I don't know if he is on the witness list for your criminal case, but that would be interesting. Maybe in the bankruptcy case he can be. Certification must be signed and dated. She says, I affirm the information contained in this complaint, consisting of 54 pages, is true and accurate to the best of my knowledge. I understand that the contents of my complaint and accompanying documentation is subject to public disclosure. I understand that neither the Arizona Department of Real Estate nor any of its officers or employees can act or will act as my legal representation or an attorney at any time, and that I may retain separate legal counsel. I understand that filing this complaint form does not stop me from pursuing mediation or civil action against a real estate professional that may have damaged me financially. And then it's signed Laura Owens, and it was digitally signed on August 28th, 2023. And then, looky there. American with Disabilities Act. There you go. The Department of Real Estate complies with the ADA, American Disabilities Act. Persons with disabilities may request reasonable accommodations such as interpreters, alternative formats, or assistance with physical disability. Requests for accommodations must be made with 72 hours prior notice. If you require special accommodations, please contact the department at blah, blah, blah number. Now, I wonder how much notice you have to give in court for your ADA accommodations. Can you just do it right then and there? Or is there actually a process that you're supposed to do? I don't know. Any lawyers, let me know. All right, next page. Laura Owens mail. Dispute with realtor Clayton Zabak. I don't think Clayton Zabak is a real person, but okay. This says correspondence with Kathy Swan. On Sunday, May 28, 2023. Hi, Catherine. My name is Laura Owens. I found that you were listed as the designated broker for Clayton Echard. I originally sent this email on Friday to Austin. Believed he was the one overseeing Clayton's employment, but I believe I was wrong and did not receive a response, despite the fact that Clayton is a new realtor. I cannot begin to tell you how impressed I was at his knowledge of the area and what might make a good investment. This was invaluable for me as a first-time investor who lacked not just experience, but confidence. I found a lender who gave me the go-ahead to put down payments on multiple seller finance properties and believed that I was in excellent hands. Okay. I mean, you found him on LinkedIn. And as a first-time buyer, I do not want a first-time broker. No offense, but I need somebody more seasoned, but that's just me. If I was seriously looking at things and not using it as a ploy to get men. Last weekend, Clayton invited me over to his apartment. We were physically intimate. In what ways, ma'am? In what ways? This did not appear to impact our working relationship whatsoever, as it wasn't until after that he showed me any properties. With his guidance, I decided to make offers on 2 properties at a cumulative value of one million $1,124,000. One at Lynn Oaks, the other at 76th. Both of my offers were at list price, and our down payment was at or even more than what the sellers offered to carry. I was told that he submitted both with proof of funds from my lender on Wednesday afternoon. He had me guarantee him via text that I would not under any circumstances back out of these deals unless there was a material defect because it would make him look bad. Of course, I agreed not to, as it was my full intention to purchase the properties. Our offers were to expire the following evening. On Wednesday evening, after discussing the possibility of dating during or after the purchase of the properties, Clayton snapped and said he would no longer be representing me as my realtor. You're the only one that seems to snap, but okay. He mentioned several times prior that he didn't feel like he didn't feel like he or our interest was being taken seriously by the seller's agent, and so his suggestion to either pull the offer or resubmit it with another realtor, all less than 10 hours after our offer was submitted, seemed unfathomable to me. I did not want to be seen by the homeowners as someone who was flighty, and it seemed to me like Clayton was being extremely childish and immature to pull such a move. This was the opposite of the professional I had seen up to that point. Ma'am, he invited you over to his home and offered you gummies. How is that professional? Okay. All right. Keep reading. Keep reading, Ducky. On Thursday, an argument ensued after Clayton's lack of transparency about where things stood with the properties and whether or not he was representing me, as well as an argument about taking the Plan B pill. Ma'am, that was 5 days after you had first talked, 5 days after y'all's encounter. I hate to bring it up, as I know it's very personal, but I believe it's relevant simply because my decision should not have clouded Clayton's duties to me as his client while we had active offers. Oh, it's your pregnancy, like, that did this. Okay. But I believe it is relevant simply because my decision should not have clouded Clayton's duties to me as his client while we had active offers. I was subjected to hours of insults during an extremely stressful time as I waited to see if offers were accepted or not. I asked him whether or not he had pulled them, if he had withdrawn as my agent, and if neither had happened, and is he still representing me, if he had any updates. Most of my questions were unanswered, but I was told less than 2 hours prior to the offers expiring at 8 p.m. on May 25th that neither had been responded to. Okay. All right. Okay. After 8 p.m., I looked online and I saw that the property on 76 was listed under contract as of the 24th, which was the day we made an offer. On Zillow, it appeared that the price that had been accepted was 425,000, which was what we offered. I contacted Clayton again and asked him if it was ours, then told him I would contact the listing agent, Nolan Rucker, if I didn't hear back. If I don't hear back from you tonight, like she always says that too. She needs to get new taglines. I also asked what the status was on the Lynn Oaks property and said I would email the broker, John Izzo or Izo, if he didn't respond. After further silence from Clayton, I contacted both of them. John told me that Clayton never sent him the offer, and Nolan said that the sellers had taken a traditional offer, but that to my surprise, Clayton had been on top of it and knew that we would be in first position if that offer didn't work out. These were both contrary to what I had been told, as the last thing he said was that our offers had been ignored. On Friday morning, I texted Clayton to ask what was going on, but got no response. I asked him to be connected with his broker, who I presume to be Austin Zabak, but again, got no response. Since Clayton hadn't emailed me, John, my offer on Linoke, despite claiming he did, I sent it over. John said that he didn't understand why Clayton hadn't sent it over because it was a great offer. He said that their buyer was going to back out and that if we wanted the property, we could have it if we acted quickly. The other agent, Nolan, said Clayton was still in communication with him regarding my offer. So I presume that he was still representing me in both deals. John tried to call Clayton, who gave a wrong number on the contract I sent over. I tried to communicate directly with Clayton about this, but again, both my texts and emails were ignored. Finally, Clayton connected with John to tell him that I was a former client and that he was welcome to represent me. I was stunned to be thrown to the seller's agent when I trusted Clayton and wanted to hear more about his concerns about the property. No, you didn't. You wanted him to take responsibility for fake babies. Um, Despite the fact that my funding for the deal had been secured, I didn't want to proceed with the purchase if my only option was to hire a broker who likely had a seller's best interest at heart. Clayton did not contact me to tell me that he had referred me to John. No, he told you in person he was going to refer you to somebody else. So I was told by John himself that he would be representing me going forward. In addition, I still have no idea where things stand with the 76th Street. Okay, at one point it's 76th Street and the other time it's 76th Avenue. So maybe it doesn't make a difference, but I would think that it would. And doubt that Clayton would keep me informed. Stunned and appalled, don't even begin to describe how I feel right now. I cannot imagine that your company would want to continue to employ someone who is so flighty and throws away what would have been 1.124 million in deals over personal issues. I have a strong group of lenders behind me and would have looked forward to closing millions more with Clayton since it seemed like he got me, and understood what I was looking for in investment properties. You didn't know what you were looking for in investment properties. Supposedly, allegedly, you didn't even really look at the house. You were just like, yep, sure, sounds good to me, thanks. I'm stunned that he chose to pull the rug out from under me and sabotage my deals because of a personal vendetta against me. Oh, ma'am. No. He didn't have a personal vendetta against you. He just wanted to get far away from you. And while Clayton's not right for sleeping with a client, and that is not good for ethical reasons for his licensee, what kind of person sleeps with their real estate agent? Anyways, I had not watched Clayton on The Bachelor last year, but he told me he had been gaslit on the show and I was traumatized by it and was traumatized by it. I believed him. But after the way he treated me on Thursday, I pulled up several clips from the show where 3 women broke down because he misled them and wasn't transparent, which is exactly how he behaved with me. No, ma'am, that's not what happened. He didn't mislead them. He was too honest with all of them. He was too transparent. He said, "I could see a future with you and I love you. I could also see a future with you and I love you too." And slept with some people and was honest with them, much like he did with you. He slept with you and he was honest with you. Just nobody seems to like it when Clayton's honest to them after he sleeps with you, I guess. Which is exactly how he behaved with me. He flipped a switch and was cold as ice. Okay. Well, I can see where Laura's gonna go with this, and Clayton's story is she's gonna say that Clayton is using her words that she described him as, and that's how he's describing her as. I was stunned that there were several articles about him where therapists and behavioral experts talked about how this treatment of women on a show was Perfect example of gaslighting. Yeah, isn't that great that behavioral experts are taking clips of edited footage and therapists to talk about little tiny clips about a person without seeing the whole entire context. Yeah, we should believe them. Maybe we should get the TikTok psychic to tell us what she thought. I only mention this behavior because I believe it's indicative of how he treats other people. And since so much of real estate is relationships, you should know that he can build them up and fast and tear them down even faster. In my opinion, he was cruel, vindictive, and manipulative, which will make your business suffer. It pains me to say that I'm sure he will act in his own selfish self-interest in his dealing with others. I don't know how his career is going. I don't know anything about it. I've been struggling to hit send on this email because I want to believe that Clayton is the agent that I saw at the beginning of the process and who I'm sure you've seen. I cannot say enough how brilliant and naturally gifted I think he is, and know he would have been an amazing asset to any company if he didn't have another side of him. You've probably never seen it, and maybe this will fall on deaf ears, but as a business owner myself. Oh, you're a business owner, huh? She's a business owner, guys, or manager. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know the difference between like an owner and a manager. So that I would want to know if I had an employee who was losing me millions of dollars of deals out of spite. Ma'am, you do that on a daily personal basis. You're an employee or owner or manager or whatever the fuck you are, daughter of Ron Owens and Jan Owens, Black, Naylor, whatever. And you are making them lose millions of dollars on things out of spite. That is what you are doing. I don't know if he's either a tremendous asset or a huge liability, and maybe it depends on the day. I was so excited to have him representing me, but have been so disheartened with what has transpired. Okay. Maybe it depends on the day. Well, maybe it's by the day with Clayton. It's the change of a temperature with you and how your emotions are. I'd still be open to working with Clayton if he could be the agent he was when I first met him because I truly trusted his opinion. Why would you want to go back to an agent that screwed you over? Much like, why do you want to be with a guy that doesn't want to be with you? You know what contract you probably did not attach to this? Your dating contract that you sent? You forgot a contract. However, it seems like he has stopped all communication, and I will not receive any further updates from him regarding the property on 76th Street that I made an offer on. I don't know what he is telling the agent who he is communication with, but I am out of the loop. I plan to file a complaint with the ADRE and or the AAR as I know that his conduct has been undoubtedly unacceptable. But read that I should try to resolve this with his designated broker first. I've been nervous and on edge this week because I put my trust in my realtor and he ended up working against me. He tried to work with you. You refused because it wasn't him. I'm not he crossed some ethical lines, yes, but he also tried to still hook you up so you wouldn't be completely screwed over. I really appreciate your taking the time to read this email. If you have further questions, you are welcome to email me at redacted or call me at redacted. All the best. Laura Owens with her picture and her podcast studio. Nobody told me. Quartet Farms and TEDx Talk. And she's got her Facebook, her LinkedIn, and her Instagram, which leads you to believe things that are untrue about her because she just doesn't know the difference. And then we have a blank page. Let's see. Kathy Swan replies Tuesday, May 30th. So a couple days later. Good morning, Laura. Thank you for your email. What would be an acceptable resolution for this for you? And you know what she should have done is contact the higher ups and see if it can be handled within the place that he works. And if it can't get handled there, then maybe you go up even further. But you don't need to just contact all the people in the same day. Because that's not really doing a chain of command thing. I mean, you don't have to. You can just go straight, but to me, it would add more credibility. Like, if you had them saying, no, I'm not gonna do shit to him. Alright. So, Laura says, back to Kathy, "Thank you for your response. There are several questions that I would like answers to. Why did he have me fill out the paperwork to make an offer on Linoak and never submit it? He didn't reply when I asked him what was going on. It seemed like a deliberate move, and I don't know why. Once the realtor told me that Clayton hadn't submitted it, why didn't he immediately do so? Once I sent it over myself, the realtor also said that the number Clayton listed on it was a number that was not in service. Maybe the guy just dialed it wrong. Why didn't he just transfer me over to a broker who would represent my best interest when I asked him several times to, instead of telling the seller's agent that he could take over my contract?" He said he couldn't represent your best interest anymore and somebody else needed to do it. There you go. Why did he tell me that neither of the realtors had gotten back to him about the offers when the realtor on Lynn Oaks said that Clayton knew what was going on with us being the first backup and that he was really on top of it? So it sounds like he submitted those people to at least one of the properties. So it sounds like you only got screwed over on one, not both. Um, you ended up missing both, but it I don't know. Anyways, it's my understanding that he broke just about every ethical code and in the way he conducted himself last Wednesday night. He knew that the supposed offers he made were only good for 24 hours. I had proof of funds and guaranteed him I would not back out of the deals. Could he really not have at least represented me for less than 24 hours until we knew what was going on with the offers? Ma'am, 5 minutes is too much to deal with you. What is the status of the property on 76th? Am I still the first backup offer? I feel like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. I want to be represented by a realtor who knows investment properties and has a good eye for things. As I've tried and tried to find another realtor over the past few days, I have not found one who believed, understood, what I have been looking for, like Clayton did. You were looking for a naive person. You were looking for a date with this to use. And Jan was probably like, hey, realtors make good money. I saw that the bachelor guy was doing realtor work now. So maybe if we use him to buy houses, like he can just be a part of the family business. I could see you and Jan cooking this up. All right. He gave me a tremendous amount of confidence in what I was doing, and he wasn't trying to sell me a property just for the sake of selling it. Obviously, because he didn't even submit your offers. So he's not in it for the money, but he needs the money. If I were to summarize what I really want from Clayton, it's an answer about why he lied to me about the properties. Ma'am, that is not a summary of what you really want from Clayton. That is a bold-faced lie. You want the man's babies. I know he's a new realtor. So if he were to say these were mistakes, but he wanted to make it right and continue to work on my behalf, I would understand. That will be an acceptable solution. Yes, only Clayton. Only Clayton, please. He dropped me as a client after he supposedly made these offers. He would need to provide really good reasons for why the offer on Lynn Oaks wasn't submitted after he had me sign it, why he lied to me about not hearing anything on 76th, and why he stopped communicating during what was the most nerve-wracking 24 hours of my life as a potential first-time buyer making 2 offers on a house. She had not gone to Banner Health at this point. All right. If he says it was our personal issues that made him drop out of supposedly making the offers just hours before, that's completely unacceptable answer. I was owed fiduciary duties by Clayton as my realtor that were not fulfilled, to say the least. If he has a propensity to act in his own self-interest and not in that of his client, I believe that under no circumstances should he remain a licensed realtor and have the opportunity to do this to someone else. The more I've looked into the duties that realtors have to their clients, the more I see how Clayton abused his power. Unless he wants to make things right, I will be filing a complaint with the ADRE and or AAR. You've already said that. But she says, I cannot reiterate enough that if his excuse for dropping out hours after making the offer is because of personal reasons, it will not prevent me from filing a complaint. There are so many properties that I thought I could buy with Clayton's help, and without his guidance, I feel paralyzed. But you could have another broker's guidance. Like you said, he's not the only realtor out there. I have lenders who want to give me money for the down payment on several seller financed properties, and I think Clayton is foolish to miss out on those commissions and change his behaviors. Well, if you have all these investors, then why did Liz Max not work out? Hmm? Thank you for taking the time to read this. All the best, Laura Owens. Kathy messages back on Wednesday, May 31st, 2023, and says, I would be happy to refer you to another experienced agent to represent you moving forward, either on the Zabak team or just with the brokerage. We have many agents who are well versed in the investment market, but based on what has transpired, it does not make sense to continue working with Clayton. Please let me know if you would like a referral to another agent. EXP agent, not experienced, but EXP. And Kathy signs hers. Best regards, Kathy Swan, designated broker, Arizona. And Laura Owens says, I appreciate that and I would love a referral. Does Clayton have answers to the questions I asked? All the best. He tried to give you a referral. You didn't like it. But when Kathy gives you a referral, that would be perfect. And at least Kathy can also see the common sense thinking behind this, that with everything that transpired, you absolutely cannot work with Clayton again, ma'am. It's not happening. Clayton doesn't want it to happen. Our business doesn't want it to happen. No, thank you. Kathy responded back on Thursday, June 1st. I am going to refer you to Matthew Chick, and I will have him reach out to you. He and his team are well versed in all things investment, and I think you will be very pleased with the information and service they can provide. From what I understand, those issues have been discussed directly with Clayton already, and I do not have any additional information. This was at 2:02 p.m. And I don't know the time that she went to Banner Health. But it was on the 1st. Sorry if you can hear my grunty pig in the background. All right. Laura is now putting in her correspondence with the Lynn Oak person. Hi, John. My name is Laura Owens. I apologize for the late email, but I wanted to check in regarding the status of my offer on Lynn Oaks Drive. I have been trying to get an answer from my realtor, Clayton Echard, about if the offer expired or was accepted, but I have not heard back. If it was, I have every plan to move forward and take the next steps to close the deal. And didn't want you to think I was not interested. Please let me know. Thank you. All the best. Then John messages back and says, I didn't receive an offer from you or Clayton. He sent that from his iPhone, and he has no signature other than that. He does not wish us all the best or the best regards. John does not. Laura says, hi, John, CC and Clayton on here as well. Here was the offer that I signed, and it was submitted on Wednesday afternoon. All the best. And so it's got like a copy, or that was a reply to everything else that was sent that we just read. And then Owens says she apologizes and she forgot to attach the purchase contract for Lynn Oak. So she attached that to John. Then she messaged again that said, hi, John, I just wanted to make sure you got my offers as I still haven't been able to read. Okay. Oh, and she's attaching the purchase contract. Okay. I don't know what that was all about, but all right. And then it says, not sure why your agent did not submit this offer. The offer would be good for backup position. May have some issues with current contract. All right. And then it just has the old emails on it. All right. And then here is this Logix Smarter Banking. The money market account has $448,618.25. Deposit dividend tiered rate is 0.23. Annual percent yield earned APYE for period of March 1st through March 31st, 0.3%. Based on the average daily balance of $913.91, ending balance, previous deposits, previous dividends earned in 23 is 90. Dividends earned in 2023 is $20.01. Notice we have no name on this as of right now. And then it's got transaction dates for April. Post date 3/28. Capital One ARC check payment 12/30. Average of daily balance is $29,542.94. Okay. It's got blacked out, like it's removed. Relationship is beneficiary, but we don't know who the beneficiary is. I think we know now. And then it's got the $448,000, 618.25. Okay. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay. So that was. So that was 3/13/23 to 4/12/23. Oh, I don't know why I'm confused. I was thinking I'm getting my areas mixed up. It's August in this. Well, it's May, so April is past. So then this next one that we look at is from April 13th through May 12th. And so now the money market is sitting, or savings is at $914.35. Checking is at $17,162.06. Money market is $449,970.88. Which, whose checking account is this? Whose savings account is this? And whose money marketing account is this? And why can't we know whose it belongs to? And then it has dividends earned, annual percentage yield earned for the period, the ending balance, $449,970.88. Relationship again, beneficiary with no name. Usually these statements come with names. Attention buyer. You are entering into a legally binding agreement. Read the contract before you sign it. The entire contract. And I imagine that's probably in red letters, or at least in my imagination, just not on here. Review the residential seller's property disclosure statement. The information comes directly from the seller. Investigate any blank spaces, unclear answers, or any other information that is important to you. 3. Review the inspection paragraph. If important to you, hire a qualified general home inspector, heating and cooling inspector, mold inspector, pest inspector, pool inspector, roof inspector. Verify the square footage. Verify the property is on sewer or septic. Very important things to know when you are buying. Number 4, confirm your ability to obtain insurance and insurability on the property during the inspection period with your insurance agent. Applying for your home loan now, if you have not done so already, and provide your lender with all requested information. It is your responsibility to make sure that you and your lender follow the timeline requirements in Section 2, and that you and your lender deliver the necessary funds to escrow in sufficient time to allow escrow to close on the agreed upon date. Otherwise, the seller may cancel the contract and you may be liable for damages. 6, read the title commitment within 5 days of receipt. 7, read CC&R and all other governing documents within 5 days of receipt, especially if the home is in a homeowners association. So if you have an HOA, number 7, very important. Number 8, conduct a through pre-closing walkthrough. If the property is unacceptable, speak up. After the closing, it may be too late. You can obtain information through the buyer's advisory, and it gives you a link. Remember, you are urged to consult with an attorney, inspectors, and experts of your choice in any area of interest or concern in the transaction. Be cautious about verbal representations, advertising claims, and information contained in a listing. Verify anything important to you. Warning: wire transfer fraud. Beware of wiring instructions sent via email. Cyber criminals may hack email accounts and send emails with fake wiring instructions. Always independently confirm wiring instructions prior to wiring any money. Do not email or transmit documents that show bank account numbers or personal identification information. And then the check off on the buyer's checklist. Clayton Echard is at the end of this. And then it's got the purchase contract. And so it lists that the buyer is Liz Mack Investments. And then it has the seller, which we looked at a lot of this stuff today in Corey Richens as well. Full purchase price paid as outlined below is $425,000. Earnest money to be applied to the down payment is $4,250. $76,500 down payment to be paid by a private lender, and $348,500 as a loan amount to be seller financed. And it is going to be in the form of a wire transfer. And it is this offer, the earnest money, if any, will be deposited with an escrow company. All right. And then it says June 27, 2023, the COE date, which is the close of escrow. If the escrow company or recorded office is closed on the CEO date, CEO shall occur on the next day that both are open for business. Buyer shall deliver an escrow company a cashier's check, wired funds, or other immediate available funds to pay any down payment, additional deposits, or buyer's closing costs, and instruct the lender, if applicable, to deliver immediate available funds to the escrow company in a sufficient amount and in sufficient time to allow a COE to occur on the close of escrow date. All funds need to be in U.S. currency. It does say HOA and seller financing. And LO signed or initialed down at the bottom. Then, let's see, it goes through all the fixtures and things like that. Additional existing personal property included in the sale is a Kenmore refrigerator as seen on the property on May 21st, 2023, a washer and dryer. The washer was seen in the property and the dryer as seen in MLS pictures and the property. All right. Then it goes through the financing. LO signed it or initialed it. I keep closing out my thingy. Let's see. Type of financing is seller carryback. Seller concessions, if any. In addition, the other cost seller has agreed to pay herein. Seller will credit buyer 0% of the purchase price or $0 seller concessions. The seller concessions may be used for any buyer fee, cost, charge, or expenditure to the extent allowed by buyer's lender. Appraisal cost, initial appraisal fee shall be paid by the buyer. All right. Let's see. The escrow, she was using American Title Service Agency, Eileen Brown. And then it lists a bunch of other stuff. LO has once again initialed it. Talking about tax things, prorations, assessment liens, release of earnest money, and then the disclosure, seller's property disclosure statements, insurance claim history. The seller shall deliver a buyer a written 5-year insurance claims history regarding the premise. Talks about foreign sellers, lead-based paint disclosure. And that's saying if the premise was built prior to 1978, which I don't know that this is. They just have it in there. It says if the premises were constructed in 1978 or later, initial there. So it was after, so it shouldn't have lead paint in it. And she signed the bottom of that page. It went over warranties, the due diligence, inspection period, square footage, wood destroying organisms or insect inspection, floor hazards. She initialed this page. Insurance. It is on a sewer system, this property. She initials that. No initials on a swimming pool. Okay, and then she initials buyer acknowledgement. Buyer recognizes, acknowledges, and agrees that brokers are not qualified nor licensed to conduct due diligence with respect to premises or surrounding area. Buyer is instructed to consult with a qualified licensed professional to assist in buyer's due diligence efforts. Because conducting due diligence with respect to the premise and the surrounding area is beyond the scope of a broker's expertise and licensing, buyer expressly releases and holds harmless brokers from liability for any defects or conditions that could have been discovered by an inspection or investigation. So Clayton would not be responsible for that. She signs that. The inspection period, buyer disapproval, or provides seller an opportunity to correct or address the disproved things. Verbal discussions will not extend these time periods. Only written agreements will. She initialed there. Buyer declines the purchase of a home warranty plan, so she did not want to buy a home warranty plan. Goes under IRS and FIRPTA reporting, which is the Foreign Investment in Real Property Tax Act. Also goes over remedies, the cure period, the breach, alternative dispute resolution, exclusions from the alternative dispute resolutions, attorney's fees and costs. She signs additional terms and condition, proposed seller financial terms, 18% down payment from buyer, in parentheses, private lender, 82% seller finance, 15-year seller carryback duration, 30-year amortization schedule with balloon payment. We heard about balloon payments today in Corey Richens as well. Taking place 15 years from contract acceptance, 5/31/2038 at a 3% interest rate. This was a much better deal than the mansion in the Richens case. All right, she initialed there. And then it goes over Arizona law, time of essence, compensation, risk of loss, company or copies and counterparts, days, calculating time periods, entire agreement, subsequent offers, cancellation, notice, release of brokers, which says seller and buyer hereby expressly release, hold harmless, and indemnify brokers in this transaction from any and all liability and responsibility regarding financing, the conditions, square footage, lot line boundaries, valve, value, rent rolls, environment problems, sanitation systems, roof, wind infestation, building codes, government regulations, insurance, price and terms of sale, return on investment, or any other matter relating to the value of condition of the premises. The parties understand and agree that brokers do not provide advice on property as an investment and are not qualified to provide financial, legal, or tax advice regarding the real estate of the transaction. Seller's initials are not on here, even though it says they are required. LO did sign. Terms of acceptance. This offer will become a binding contract when acceptance is signed by seller and signed copy delivered in person by mail or electronic and delivered by broker named in section 8Q, which would be Clayton, by May 25th, 2023 at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. All right. And then it says this contract contains 10 pages exclusive of any addenda and attachments. Please ensure that you have received and read all 10 pages of this offer, as well as any addenda and attachments. LO initialed, and it is Clayton's. And then on the page 10, the broker, Clayton Echard, print agent is Austin Zabak, EXP Realty. And then it says agency confirmation, broker named in section 8Q above is the agent. Then there's an X on buyer. The undersigned agree to purchase the premise on terms and conditions herein stated and acknowledged. Receipt of a copy here of including the buyer attachment. Laura Owens, 5/24/2023, Liz Max Investments. And then it says seller name printed. And so that was that. So that was the 10 pages. And then there's a new one or another one that, represents the buyer as a broker. Laura Owens signs it under Liz Mack Investments, LLC. Then she gives over the same money market accounts that we went through just a minute ago for March 13th through April 12th. And then we have April 13th through May 12th. It's the same amount of money. We still do not have names on any of these. Which just drives me insane. We've got our attention buyer. And then the seller for this one, somebody named Dana. This is the Lynn Oaks one. And this one is $699,000 full purchase price paid as outlined below. The 10% down, which is $6,990. Earnest money to be applied as the down payment. $69,900 is to be paid by a private lender, and $629,100 is the loan amount to be seller financed. And then it's going to be a wire transfer. The close of escrow on this place was June 27th, 2023. So much later than the previous one we looked at. It is an HOA, and it is seller financing. And then additional existing personal property. Refrigerator, which is a wood-paneled covered fridge as seen in the property on 5/23/2023. A washer and a dryer, both Samsung, as seen on the property. Then there is also a grill as seen on the property. So you can make some celebratory steaks. But actually, Laura cannot, because one, they don't know how to cook, and two, Clayton messed these deals up because she tried to get him to stay with her with fake babies. She initialed. There will be 0% credit with the buyer or $0 in concessions by the seller. Initial appraisal fees shall be paid by the buyer. At the time, payment is required by lender and is non-refundable. If seller is paying the initial appraisal fee, the fee will not be applied against seller's concessions at the close of escrow, if applicable. And then she's using American Title Service again, Eileen Brown. Initialed Laura Owens. Goes through all the other stuff that we talked about. The premises was constructed later than 1978, so therefore the lead paint is not an issue on this place. Initials. It is on a sewer system. She initialed that. There's no pool. She initialed the buyer acknowledgement and the sewer connection. Sign the bottom of this page. Buyer declines the purchase of a home warranty plan, so she doesn't want a home warranty plan on this either. Goes through the remedies. She signs those. Additional terms and condition, proposed seller financial terms, 10% down payment from buyer, private lender, 90% seller finance, 7-year seller carryback duration, 30-year amortization schedule with the balloon payment 7 years from contract acceptance, May 31st, 2030, 4% interest rate. So they're both a little bit different. I don't know what their square footage or anything like that is. Don't have a floor plan. And it said that the offer was May 25th, 2023 at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Clayton's initials are not there where their seller's required, or whoever the seller actually is, because he's just a broker. Well, no, he's listed as the seller. Okay. Clayton, Austin Zabak, the buyer, Laura Owens, Liz Mack Investments. And it's got the seller. Doesn't say anything else on that 10 page. Real estate agency disclosure and election. The firm name, EXP Realty, acting through Clayton Echard and Austin Zabak. Hereby makes the following disclosures. Represents the buyer as buyer's broker. Laura Owens signs for Liz Mack's Investments. And then we get to text messages. And I wonder what she has deleted out of these, or if this was on a different phone than the other one. If we looked at an extraction report of things or screenshots, should there be other messages in here that are not in here? So it says Friday, May 26th at 8:31 a.m. Message I sent to Clayton and the realtor for North 76th Street, where I found out Clayton was in communication with the realtor, but not with me about the property. To this day, we have not spoken about it. So she says, "Hi, Nolan. I have been trying to get an answer from my realtor, Clayton Echard, about the offer we put in on 76th on the 24th, attached." So she attaches the purchase contract. Was accepted, but I have not heard back yet. I noticed on Zillow that an offer was accepted on Wednesday, and from what they say, it is apparently at the price I offered, and I wanted to know if it was mine. If it was, I have every plan to move forward and take the next steps to close the deal, and didn't want you to think I was not interested. And it said they messaged back and said the seller decided to take a traditional offer on Tuesday, but it's almost super short inspection period. So if it doesn't work out, you'll most likely be the first person. I will keep you both posted. And she says, "Thank you. Yes, thank you for the offer as well. Clayton has been on top of it as well." So this person has got Clayton's back, whether he actually is on top of it or not. All right. And then she says, this is the thing to John. This is correspondence with the Lynn Oaks realtor, who told me that Clayton referred me as a client to him, the seller's agent, without my knowledge after not submitting the offer. So she says, "Laura, you sent me an email with your offer to purchase. Your mailbox is full, and the agent that wrote the offer gave me a wrong number." Okay. Yeah, I bet her mailbox is full. You don't have no idea what she'd be doing in the emails or probably on the phone. "My current contract may be falling out of escrow, so time is of the essence. Thank you, John Isso." All right. John said thank you as his closing remarks. We were wondering what his would be. She says, let me connect with you with him 1 second. Please let me know if you get in touch with him because I haven't been able to. Time is of the essence. The other buyer just canceled. I will wait to put it back on the market if you'd like to move forward. What number do you have for Clayton? Yes, please wait. I have da, 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 da. I'll try that because the number on the contract is non-working number, which I don't know. Okay, perfect. Please let me know if you reach him. I can't. You can also try this number. Any luck? Yes. Are you able to speak with me? Not at the moment, but in a bit I can. What's the update? The other contract is being canceled. I spoke with Clayton and he said that I should take over the contract if you're still interested. Okay. So he's willing to help you get this thing. Which other contract? Before your offer, another offer was accepted. I told your agent that was happening. The buyer will not have his down payment funds in time to close escrow. Therefore, I told him that we needed to cancel the deal. Paperwork is being sent out how to cancel. Okay, so what step does Clayton need to take next then? He sent me an email referring you to me. He said you are a former client. Oh, I didn't know that. I apologize for the mix up. He told you above that. Okay. No worries. Would you still like to purchase or pursue the purchase? Let me run the numbers again. I was relying on Clayton's guidance and was told he submitted my offer on the 24th in the afternoon. I was very confident in what he thought of the property. I apologize for the mess this has been. Ma'am, he's saying that you can have this place, but now you're saying you need to run the numbers again? He's saying your offer will be good. Just give it to me because the other guy can't come up with the money. And now you said, I want to move forward with this. He's saying, hey, let's move forward with this. And you're like, oh, let me run the numbers again. I was wanting Clayton's guidance. You could have gotten this property if you wanted it. Clayton didn't screw you out of this property. I spoke to him briefly. He said he is new to the business. He said he was writing an offer on the 23rd. I told him there was negotiations going on with another offer, but recommended that he submit an offer anyways. I contacted him the next day to let him know the offer was accepted and to submit for a backup position. The next thing I heard was from you about your offer, which I didn't receive until today. She says, I don't want to hold you up on the sale. I had every intention of buying it, but the way this has gone down with Clayton has given me cold feet. I'm really sorry. Because it's not about the house. It's not about the house, ma'am. You only wanted to do this with Clayton to get Clayton. Because if you were really serious about this property, you would move on with this thing, but you don't. Because you're not genuinely interested in buying this investment property. No need to apologies. You need to do what's best for you. Thank you for letting me know. I will let you know if anything changes. Thank you so much. So you had the opportunity to get that one. Clayton was on top of it. So, all right. Next is an unresponded email that she sent to Austin Zabak on Friday, May 26, 2023. Hi, Austin. My name is Laura Owens, and up until today, I was working with one of your agents, Clayton Echard. Despite the fact that he is a new realtor, I cannot begin to tell you how impressed I was with the knowledge of the area and what might make a good investment. This was invaluable for me as a first time investor. I found a lender who gave me the go ahead to put down payments on multiple seller finance properties and believed that I was in excellent hands. Last weekend, Clayton invited me over to his apartment when he was, to use his words, in a vulnerable position of being insanely high, and we were physically intimate. Okay. This did not appear to impact our working relationship, as it wasn't until after that he even showed me any properties. With his guidance, I decided to make offers on two properties at a cumulative value of 1.124 million. One is located on Lynn, the other on 76th. Both of my offers were at list price and very near the percentages that the seller was offered to carry. I was told that he submitted both with proof of funds from my lender on Wednesday afternoon. He had me guarantee him via text that I would not, under any circumstance, back out of the deals unless there was a material defect because it would make him look bad. Of course, I agreed not to, as it was my full intention to purchase the properties. No, it wasn't, because had it been your full intention, you would have purchased one of the properties that you had the option to buy. On Wednesday evening, after discussing the possibilities of dating, during or after the purchase of properties, Clayton snapped and said he would no longer be representing me as my realtor. No, he slept with you, said, "My bad, don't want to do that again," and you wanted a relationship. You were a one night stand. That was it. And not even that. You were just good for two blowies. He had mentioned several times prior that he didn't feel like he or our best interest was being taken serious by the seller's agents, and so his suggestion was to either pull the offer and resign it with you as my broker or get a new realtor and resubmit the offer. All less than 10 hours after our offer was submitted seemed unfathomable to me. I did not want to be seen by the homeowner, someone who was flighty, and it seemed to me like Clayton was being extremely childish and mature to pull such a move. This was the opposite of professional that I had seen up to this point. It seems like the same thing. Yesterday, an argument ensued after the Plan B pill where I was told, "Laura, I legitimately hate you right now for not taking it." The realtor doesn't need to know this, but okay. I was subject to hours of further insults during an extremely stressful time as I waited to see if the offers were accepted. I asked him whether or not they were pulled, if he had any withdrawal as my agent, and if neither had happened and he still represented me. If he had any updates, most of my questions were unanswered, but I was told less than 2 hours prior to the offers expiring at 8 p.m. on May 25th that neither had been responded to. So, okay. After 8 p.m., I looked online and saw the property on 76 was listed as under contract on the 20 as of the 24th, which was the day we made an offer on Zillow. It appeared that the price had been accepted. She asked Clayton if it was his. She didn't hear back. So she asked the status on the Lynn Oak property and said that I would email the broker, John Izzo, if he didn't respond. After further silence from Clayton, I contacted both of them. John told me that Clayton never sent him the offer, and Nolan said that the sellers had taken a traditional offer, but Clayton had been on top of it and knew that we would be in first position if that offer didn't work out. These were both contrary to what I had been told by Clayton, who made me think that our offers had been ignored. This morning, I texted Clayton to ask what was going on, but got no response. I asked him to be connected with his broker, I'm presuming is you, but again, got no response. Since Clayton hadn't emailed John my offer on Linoke, despite claiming he did, I sent it over to him. John said that their buyer was going going to back out, and if we wanted the property, we could have it. The other agent, Nolan, said Clayton was still in communication with him regarding my offer, so I presume that he was still representing me in both deals. John tried to call Clayton, who gave him the wrong number. I tried to communicate directly with Clayton about this again, but both my texts and emails were ignored. Finally, Clayton connected with John to tell him that I was a former client and that he was welcome to represent me. I was stunned to be thrown to the seller's agent when I trusted Clayton, and I wanted to hear more about concerns about the property. Despite the fact that my lender has the money ready to go, I don't want to proceed with the purchase if my only option is to hire a broker who has the seller's best interest at heart. Ma'am, you would still be getting the deal that Clayton and you came up with. Like, everything that was in the contract was still going to be what was going forward. So it really didn't matter. Clayton did not contact me to tell me that he had referred me to John, so I was told by John himself. Yeah, he did tell you, but okay. That he wanted to do that and he was going to do that. You just wouldn't listen. That he would be representing me going forward. In addition, I have no idea where things stand with the 76th Street property and doubt that Clayton will be keeping me informed. Um, well, John was going to keep you informed about this shit. On the one, stunned and appalled. I don't even know how to describe how I feel right now. She goes into the Bachelor comments because she always has to mention Clayton in the Bachelor. And that he misled people and wasn't transparent. And he is the one that is flipped a switch and was cold as ice. That he was cruel, vindictive, and manipulative. Unlike herself, right? That she had been struggling to hit send on this email because she wanted to believe that Clayton is the agent that she saw at the beginning of the process and who I'm sure you see every day. You didn't know the man, okay? So basically, it's a copy and paste almost with a few things extra added that she sent to Kathy. All the best, Laura Owens. And then unresponded. Okay. Okay. Status of properties offered on yesterday, Thursday, May 25th, 2023. Hi, can I please have the status on the properties I made offers on with Clayton Echard yesterday? The addresses are 76th and Lynn Oak. My lender is getting impatient with me about whether or not the offers were accepted, and I haven't heard back. I would appreciate the prompt response. Thank you. Okay, so that was May 25th at 5:45. When were these texts from? Okay, so she found out the next day on the 26th that she could still have that offer. So her lender should have been told the very next day that at least one of the offers they would be able to go forward on. So Clayton lost you one, you lost yourself and your investor or your lender the other one. And yes, there was still ethical lines that were crossed, and Clayton admits that. So that is Clayton's Laura Owens' complaint on Clayton to the real estate board. I will have the document linked in the description box below. It's also on Volo, victims of Laura Owens.com, if you want to read everything for yourself. I just kind of wanted to do as quick of an overview as we could do, um, and let y'all see everything. But thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like this video, comment down below your thoughts, subscribe, and turn those notification bells on so you never miss a video. Bye.